On the second day of Brucemas, my Bruno gave to me 2 dumb cartoons and a die-hard battery.
Merry Brucemas to all.
Broadcasting live from inside the power band. This is The Blah. In this Minisode, everybody dies. Folks, welcome to the podcast. This is one of the many days of Brucemas. That's right, it's that time of year, and Brucemas is upon us. And today we're going to be talking about the whatever 90s not classic Brucemas cartoon animated show that I'm sure many people didn't know existed, called Bruno the Kid.
First, I had no idea this existed. Second, there are 36 of these goddamn things. And third, Mark Hamill and Tim Curry are in this alongside Bruce Willis, which is just baffling to me.
Well, that must be why the character voice work is so good on it.
I guess. Because let me tell you, there wasn't a hell of a lot that was good about it.
No, there wasn't, but I did appreciate the quality of the other characters. I mean, that was sort of the one saving grace of the whole thing. Like, I mean, the other characters were just goofy and ridiculous, and they were sort of great in that sense.
Yeah.
High level, over.
I would agree with you about some of the voice acting being good, and that being what is possibly the only redeeming thing about the cartoon.
I just want to know how much coke they were doing when they came up with this idea, because I think the answer is a lot of coke was done. Either in the planning of this or in the getting Bruno to sign a contract to do this, because it is just amazingly bad.
Yeah, it really is. I don't really see where this concept spins off of anything that he's done. You know what I mean? Except that he uses Bruno as the name of the kid, and that's the same name he uses as his stage name as a musician, not an actor, a musician.
Right. And he I could see him being convinced to do this, where it's kind of like the cigarette barons are like, well, if we get them smoking at a young age, they'll stick to our brand. Where they're like, if we can get the kids into Bruno, they'll watch all of my movies, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's just like a 11-year-old John McClane as James Bond. Just shenanigans with Bruce Willis's voice. It's the most fucking baffling thing.
It is utter shenanigans.
Did you guys watch the second episode by chance?
I did.
Yeah.
The bit at the end where the girl sidekick says she's going to change her middle name to Demi, I almost died. I almost died when there's a shout out to Bruno's wife, Demi Moore.
Ugh.
She would give 2 shits. You know, what in the fuck is going on in that writing room? Oh my God, it was so funny.
No, that shout out felt more like a, see, honey, this is a great idea kind of thing.
Exactly. It was just what are you thinking, guys?
You know what I mean? She was telling him not to do it. She was imploring him not to do it, pleading with him not to do it. And that shout out was the, see, I told you this was a great idea.
I don't know. I kind of feel like everyone needs to watch one episode, but probably only one. Because I don't know if I can put myself through 36 of these damn things.
Just watch one, folks. Don't watch them all.
The second one was basically exactly the same as the first one. I was really amazed at the only difference between the two was the villain, but the plot was almost identical. Get the stupid disc from the stupid person.
Yeah, right. And then they had the very strange sort of British handler, Jarlsberg, which doesn't sound like a British name in any way, shape, or form.
No. I don't know how much thought was going into the thing as a whole. I like how there's a secret, sneaky little gripes of Kev that sneaks into this horror show of a cartoon, though. I do enjoy that. What was up with the Jarlsberg's name?
Yeah, well, I mean, really, if I'm really stretching here to do some high level, but if I think about it from a kid's perspective, that a lot of that goofiness would play great for a kid, they don't really care.
I guess.
I don't know. I don't know what what age range. I don't know what age range this was targeted at, but I could see smaller kids kind of being into the goofiness. Certainly the goofy characters that were the best part, a la Mark and Tim. So I don't know. Any thoughts there, Ben? Or he's just traumatized. He's on
Yeah, don't see it.
You don't recommend it?
Don't see it.
I mean, it would be worthwhile to sort of summarize it for people, wouldn't it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Instead of just, talking about things from middle out, much as we love middle out compression here.
I love middle out compression.
You want to give a little synopsis?
Yeah, sure. So Bruce Willis plays Bruno, the kid, who I guess is sort of, I don't know, is he a boy genius or is he just like an above average intelligence boy?
I'd say the latter. Yeah.
The latter. Yeah.
Ladder/nerd.
Yes. Who, through his computer hijinks, finds himself working for a spy agency, trying to hunt down a device called BLAP, which stands for something along the lines of binary. I don't even remember what the fuck it is. It's so stupid. But anyways, because he's a little kid, the only other person that's in on it is his British assistant, Jarlsberg. And whenever he deals with the sort of council of spies, he has this like poorly 3D rendered actual Bruce Willis face, and that's sort of his avatar for dealing with the headquarters of the spy agency.
Which is probably why they think that he's a man.
Yes, well, that's the idea. He's pretending, as far as they're concerned, he's a full-grown adult. But he's so clever as a little kid.
Which works because the 11-year-old has an amazingly deep Bruno voice.
And he plays the harmonica.
To put tigers to sleep.
Often to, pacify animals, or I think he uses it to cut himself free at one point. It's sort of his Swiss Army. You know, James Bond has, like, a laser watch and all these, like, clever gadgets. Bruno the kid just has his harmonica.
Swiss Army harmonica.
Yeah. To go with the Bruno sung theme song.
The theme song might be...
It's something to behold, I'll tell you what, man. It's something to fucking behold.
The theme song might be worth the price of admission just for, for those who love the cheesy Seagram's commercials. This is sort of more of the same.
Yeah, that's what I had as a note. Was the end theme sounded like the Seagram's commercial.
No time for kids games, no time for girls, helping the good guys, saving the world. Call up Bruno, yeah, call up the kid, yeah. When you got a problem, call Bruno the kid.
I do have to give props where props are due, though, where the bad guy in the opening sequence of the first episode talks about wanting $1 million and says it just like Dr. Evil and Austin Powers, and this came out the year before original Austin Powers, so it kind of wouldn't surprise me if Austin Powers cribbed from these notes, and I kind of think that's funny in a really weird way.
Yeah, it's funny and very improbable.
I don't know. I could see Mike Myers sitting around watching cartoons, writing it, and seeing this on TV and something. I don't know. I want to believe that that's true because there's like almost no other redeeming qualities of this thing.
Yeah, I don't even know if that redeems it.
Fair enough, Benny.
I didn't know if I should pose this question in a different minisode or in a full episode of a Bruce situation, but where does the whole, like, what is with the Bruno thing?
I have no idea.
Like that's the one question we've never posed. Like, why Bruno? Where does that come from? Like, I get that his name is Bruno, but like, I am unaware that Bruno is some sort of moniker or nickname or version in another language of the name Bruce of any sort. So as I was watching it, I was wondering, like, where does that come from? I mean, it's just kind of dumb, man. You know?
If I had to guess, the only place where it crops up is his music special, which I believe is called The Return of Bruno. So I could only assume that that's like his, as you said, his music stage name, and it just sort of caught on. Because Bruno, like in the press, they do refer to him as Bruno, like kind of like they refer to Sylvester Stallone as Sly.
Right.
I don't really know what the origin is, but it exists.
I feel like he was like trying to be more like Sly, and he came up with that himself in his garage or something, maybe. You know, like I like how Stallone's called Sly. I'm gonna go with a name like that, like Bruno. What do you think about that?
I'm totally willing to take an ejection death here, but because it's going to piss Benny off. But I ejected to quickly like Google Bruno versus Bruce, and the top thing that came up is evidently Batman is known as Bruno Diaz, not Bruce Wayne, in Latin America since the 50s.
Are you taking a stab here?
So I just figured I'd inject a little bit of Batman into the conversation as to another Bruno.
But are you taking a stab there, or is that like an actual thing, or is that just EBD theory craft?
You're asking if I'm making shit up?
No, what I'm asking you, I'm not suggesting that you're making that fact up. What I'm suggesting or asking is, are you making a leap that he was like, oh, well, Bruno is Bruce Wayne and Mexican, or Mexican. That sounds so stupid, man.
So I'll use that. No, not really.
But that's what I'm going to call myself.
It's the only other Bruno that popped up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, fair enough. But you know what I mean. Like I'm saying, like,
I do.
Are you making some incredible mental leap in theory because you're trying to connect these two things together, or what?
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to find some hidden nugget in here. I think Ben's right, though. I think it's relating only to the music. I personally thought that one of you guys, if not you, Kev, gave him the nickname Bruno when we were, talking about him.
Oh, no, that was just from that music special, The Return of Bruno, which I never got it then, and I still don't get it now, except for what you just said. Now, with the reveal of the Batman thing,
Bruce Willis might actually be Bruce Wayne. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm definitely not saying that. What I'm saying is that he made some sort of leap thinking that he was Batman and decided to use the name Bruno.
Yeah. I buy it.
I mean, I guess in south of the border they use Bruno instead of Bruce, but I've never met anybody from Mexico named Bruno. I can tell you that right now.
To be fair to people south of the border, they have a hard time pronouncing my name, so I'm known as Felipe amongst all of the various Latinos that I worked with. So you just kind of, get your special, Latino name.
I guess, yeah, I get that.
This is Bruno's.
That. Yeah, I get that. Makes sense. It's kind of like...
Did you choose Felipe?
I don't think I did choose Felipe. I think it was chosen for me, but I kind of like it.
I mean, I guess there's not really anything close to Chad as far as...
No, not really.
Latin names goes.
I'm down with Felipe. Felipe's cool.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Felipe. I just think it would have been funny if you had chosen it.
I might have. I don't think I did. It was in my drunken teenage years working at a restaurant, so who knows what the fuck happened back then. To be fair, it was probably given to me at almost exactly the time that this cartoon was airing on television, so there might be something there. Maybe everyone in 96 got a Latin name, a Latin moniker.
Just taking a look at the cast, we were talking about Mark Hamill and Tim Curry being the kind of the highlights of this. I'm pretty amazed at who did the voices for this show, and starting from and working backwards in terms of like fame. We mentioned before Frank Welker, who did a bunch of the voices on Scooby-Doo. Yep. Okay. Ed McMahon. Okay. Johnny's old sidekick, Ed McMahon from the Tonight Show, was doing voices. Ed Asner was doing voices for this.
Jesus.
Matt Frewer, who played Max Headroom, was doing voices for this. Okay. Bronson Pinchot, who we all know and love as the lovable Balky Bartolowitz. I think it's Bartolowitz from, oh my God, what was that stupid show that was so popular? Cousin Larry, oh God, I can't remember. I can't believe I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, Bronson Pinchot,
Perfect Strangers?
Thank you, Perfect Strangers. Bronson Pinchot did some of the voices. And finally, nerd alum and now who's reached legendary status, who also passed away recently, which was very sad, would be Rene Auberjonois, who was Odo on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, also did voices for this.
I can't believe that it is such an amazing cast.
How did they get all of these great people to do the voices for this terrible cartoon?
They gave Bruno an 8-ball of Coke, and they were like, call all your buddies and get them in here, man. And that's what happened. He flipped open the Bruno decks, the like Bruno-themed Rolodex.
I like it.
It was in the shape of a harmonica, and he just flipped through it and called everybody.
The Bruno decks. That's good. Really good. What else about this, Ben? You got anything else about this? Vitriol, compliments, anything?
No, I've exhausted all my I've exhausted all of my commentary for this particular subject.
Ben's silence is his rating.
His noping out is statement enough. You heard it here first, folks. I had a couple of notes. Chad, you got any notes?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
I'll rattle them off because we don't need to spend a lot of time on this. Did you? I thought that the Jarlsberg guy sounded like Jeremy Irons. I kind of wished that I looked in the credits and it was Jeremy Irons that had flipped out.
But it would have been pretty sweet.
Well, it's ironic because he plays Alfred in the new Batman movies, and Bruno is Bruce Wayne's name in Batman in Mexico.
Now it's a stretch.
A total stretch. Two really stupid lines from it. If you've got the yo-yo, that was the code word. If you've got the yo-yo, I've got the string. I was like, okay, that's great. And then he does a variation on his famous Die Hard line in this. But he says, yippee-ki-yay, suckers.
Oh, dude. I can't believe he dropped a yippee-ki-yay in this, man. I don't know. I just don't cross the streams, dude.
I'm not crossing the streams. It was in the cartoon, man. I think that validates it.
Oh, I know. I'm saying don't cross the streams, dude that wrote the cartoon.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. I'm with you there. Sorry. And then my final note is why the kid doesn't look like Bruno. Like why he's using a CGI model of one that's a full body model of Bruce Willis, and then the others that's just a bust or a head. Why doesn't the kid look like Bruno? God, this freaking cartoon sucks. Why doesn't
Merry Brucemas, everybody. Merry Brucemas.
Unask the question.
Yeah, Merry Brucemas. Why does the kid not look like... He doesn't look like Bruce Willis. I don't understand. That's maybe more in the gripes of Kev, but this whole thing is a gripe of Kev.
I think your Skype cut out there, and I thought you just gave up halfway through the sentence, and that was going to be like the cold ending of the show, and it would have been fucking great.
Well, maybe we can rework that in post.
Maybe.
I can't imagine the answer to your question would be anything satisfying, Kevin.
Anyway, yeah, that's all I got. If we're wrapping it up, this is terrible, save the voice work and the firepower that some of these actors bring to it. But I don't know. Go watch an episode and call it a day. Stack up the spoon and call it a day.
Watch one episode, ladies and gents.
I guess to be fair, we watched the first 2 episodes of it. Maybe it gets really good in the middle or something. But
maybe.
I'm not seeing it. So
the final episode, You Go Girl, aired May 25th, 1997. Medusa has a molecular reorganizer which can turn water into gold and vice versa. She plans to steal the world's supply of gold in order to control the world. Lisi sneaks along on this mission and finds out about Bruno's secret life. I don't think it gets much better, Benny.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to, add some positivity to this, but...
Fart noises all around, Bruno. I'm glad you sobered up, my friend, and moved on to bigger and better things.
Oh, my goodness. All right, should we wrap
You know
up?
what they say about Bruce Willis, right?
I do, Chad. And it goes a little something like this. Seagrams, cold water cooler, Seagrams.
It's wet and it's dry. Well, Merry Brucemas, dudes.
Merry Brucemas to all.
And to all a good night.